Hello and welcome to the People Do That podcast.
On this podcast, we're going to talk to people that do epic shit with their lives.
These are people that are good at life. We will talk to life coaches, sports broadcasters, fitness experts, Marine special ops, and even someone who became a doctor after the age of 50. Because you know what?
People do that.
People do that?
People do that.
Well, I give you just a little bit, I don't need a lot. Open up your heart, show me what you got. The sugar tastes sweet, coffee in the pot. Now give me just a little bit, just a little bit. Give me just, yeah, now.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the People Do That podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Good. We're good. Excited to be back.
Really?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I have a special interest in this guest today.
Yes, I think Brian might too.
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
after I saw he's got about 18 pages of notes.
Yeah.
How you could make 18 pages of notes about the person that you live with.
About your wife?
yeah,
your
Yes.
we're gonna see.
I know.
Yeah, it's
Found
gonna
some
be
good
fun.
stuff.
And he won't show us either. by
No,
the
no,
way.
God, no.
He's
No,
not.
no.
He's not sharing.
I won't share it with her either.
after the fact.
Maybe
after
I
the
will.
fact.
Well,
Maybe
I had an interesting thing happen to me just since I saw you guys last. So I've been having, I started listening to the podcast and I sounded a little nasally in my voice and I had like a little sinus issue going along. So I made an appointment with an ENT doctor to just see what's going on, and haven't been to an ENT doctor, but I look up in there, I'm like, for my sinuses, he's probably going to look in my nose. And I felt like it was kind of like going to the girl doctor, because the morning of that appointment, I wanted to make sure I got it cleaned up and just kind of really shaved up, inside my nose, because he's going up there with a light. And I wanted it to look nice for him, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought that was going to be a bigger deal, and I don't know
Dude,
what
you did a nose Brazilian for your
I
doctor.
did a Brazilian.
He cleaned up.
Yes, and so I.
How did you get in there though? Hold on.
No, they make a little thing, a little.
Who's
shaver.
they?
Walgreens.
Oh, so
yeah,
they have
Walgreens.
this.
Yeah, they have this, and you just go in there and just do a little shake, because you're not supposed to pluck. I learned that.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
that's really bad, and that's actually what's caused my condition, I guess.
You're a plucker.
I guess, but
What it plucks?
I pluck, but
That's painful.
that is
The
painful.
plucking.
But I shaved it up nice. Go to the appointment. The guy is like, "Oh man, sometimes when I'm doing these appointments, like, there's just hair coming out of everybody's noses. And why doesn't the wife say, like, hey, husband, like, get rid of some of that?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, not me." And then he goes up there and he's like, "I have to say, I've never seen a nose cleaned up this nice before." And it was so awkward. And the only words that came out of my mouth was, "I did it for you." And I'm like, why would I say that to my doctor? So it was just super awkward after that. I'm like, why would I say I did it for
Did
you?
he take did he step back and take a minute?
Yeah, he's like,
thank you so much.
he did say thank you. He's like, I do appreciate that, and he's like, yeah, good job on that. It looks really, really clean. So,
All right.
That is a concern, like the ear. I love the acronym, by the way. I'm sure we'll get into that
ENT?
later.
Yes,
But
yes, we will.
the ears and the ears and the nose, the ear hairs. Those are tricky. That's not a.
No.
You don't see those. You need a partner that's going to be able to help you with
yeah,
that.
somebody that's
All
gonna,
right,
yeah.
someone you trust.
Well, do you have the? I know it just happens on my left ear. I don't think I have it right now, but how one day a 2-inch hair just shows up attached to your lobe,
Yes.
and just like you're just drying yourself off after the shower, and you just catch that one little light that hits it, and then you go, "How in the fuck did I never see this?"
And why did nobody tell me?
My God,
Yes.
there's one on my left ear, and then I get one on my right
Got
shoulder.
one on my shoulder. And it's just like dancing in the wind, just like,
Dude,
here
this
I am.
thing has it's got its own island.
Yes.
And it's this one's like 2 inches. This one's like 3 inches.
Can we make a pact? People do that pact, that if any hairs on each other are growing where they're not supposed to be,
We'll
we
say
notify.
it.
We say
Yeah.
it.
That's
We
what a
gotta say
friend
it.
would do, right? You said if you go to the restaurant and it's not up to par, up
He
to
tells
service.
me.
I tell him, yeah, I don't,
Yeah, all right.
I don't care.
If he has an
that,
ear
that
hair,
3-inch ear hair. maybe just a pluck,
Yeah.
pluck and
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
You guys were generous enough those 2 months I went with no deodorant. You guys never said anything.
no, we knew though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went
no.
2 months without deodorant?
You didn't know. See, there you go.
Well, you also wear an undershirt.
I do.
Do you wear an undershirt every day?
Pretty much.
I haven't
Yeah.
worn an undershirt in 25 years.
I used to get excited when you would come in with no deodorant because I thought you were bringing in Whopper Juniors. I thought you had a bag of Whopper Juniors.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Did you just equate his BO to a Whopper Jr.?
The beauty of it was I like dipped that Whopper Jr. into like tangerine juice because my soap was a natural
A
tangerine.
little tangerine and Whopper Junior combo.
Wait, so why did you stop using deodorant?
Because my wife's a hippie and I started using new deodorants.
What, do you need like...
He didn't
I
like
always
the
call that the...
aluminum in his body.
you don't want the aluminium?
The aluminum for
Wait,
those
so
that know.
what? She was like, dude, I'll just take that.
You look at.
I know. It's
I know you look
horrible.
at pasta sauce.
I
look
do.
at the back of deodorant.
And God knows what's in
So
that.
before
God.
we start just making shit up about stuff we know, should we bring in a doctor that
probably-
actually knows this right now? Do you know of one in your
We
house?
probably need some
Brian?
help with this. I may have somebody that can help us
I'm
with this.
not wearing deodorant regardless of what happens.
All right, let's bring in Dr. JJ Reid.
All right, let's go.
Hey guys, let's mix it up a little bit today. I'm gonna do the introduction. All right.
Awesome. I'm all
I'm already uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. No, we're mixing it up.
Why isn't Tim reading?
Mixing it up. All right. And I think you'll understand why. And I think if we asked our guests, all of them would be okay with me saying that this is going to be my favorite guest of all time.
Yeah,
I believe
Yes.
it.
I'm legally bound to say that, I believe, actually. So, today's guest is a second-generation Arizonian, born in Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to Scottsdale Saguaro High School, played 4 years of varsity softball. Took her softball talents to Kent State, Ohio, the seamless transition from Scottsdale to Ohio. All right. To pursue her love of softball and her passions in education, and got a degree in special education with an emphasis in deaf education. She furthered her education at Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C., where she got her master's in school counseling, again with an emphasis in deafness. Things were rolling along pretty well. She had an internship set up in Colorado Springs for the school for the deaf and blind, and she was going to take her snowboard with her, but doggone it if she didn't just get swept off her feet by the man of her dreams.
Wow.
And 97 days later, decided to get married to that young lad.
97
days. Yep.
That's love.
So
Okay.
push the fast forward button in 2004. Grab a husband, get a house, buy a dog, have a baby, go get them. So 20 years of, coming up on 20 years of marriage in January. She's been in the field of education for the last 20 years. 17 of the years of those years at Sequoia School for the Deaf. Most recently, a leap to Mesquite Junior in counseling in her degree. So along the way, we had another baby girl, and in about she decided with 2 kids in grade school, it'd be a great idea to go and get her doctorate. So I watched this lady study and tuck the kids to bed, and then go take care of her education, which was fascinating. And she accomplished that in 2013. I don't think a lot of her friends really realize how much time and effort that was, and really don't even think of her in that regards. But yeah, so life was.
I think of her in that regard.
You do.
Well,
yes,
I call
good.
her the doctor.
Yeah,
good,
the good doctor.
The good doctor.
Life was cruising along. 2019, we go into a doctor's office, and she is diagnosed with colon cancer at 41 years old. So life gets thrown upside down. But what an amazing journey, and discussions about her treatment, and the sharing and the caring out, from friends and family. But what was amazing was to watch her kind of go through the process, share on social media, and be an advocate, and be a resource for others. And that was really exciting. Taking something exciting and the silver lining out of the C word, right, in 2019. So. Led to a life of healthy eating for the Reid family.
You love it?
Yep, exciting stuff.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
We're going to get into that. So, I'm hoping we can share a lot about the cancer and about that process, and some things that were shared with friends and family, and those that maybe didn't hear about it. But She's a caring daughter, a thoughtful sister, an amazing mother, a talented coach, an encouraging teacher. I think her softball friends would call her JJ LeBenz. I think her students would call her Dr. Jennifer Reid. I refer to her as the love of my life. She is Miss JJ Reid.
Unbelievable. Can we just end right there?
I got goosebumps right there. Hi, JJ.
Hi.
Doctor.
Doctor. Well, I was amazed. Like, as you can see, I didn't take notes. I know a lot more about my wife than I really thought I did.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing.
You didn't even have to ask her any of those things.
Yeah, you are fortunate to have a wife that talks a little bit.
Oh,
so
well,
maybe you listen sometimes.
Well,
Well, I'm going to
just-
sit back and listen. I'll take my. This is what I do at home. I'll just sit back.
we gotta start. We
Wow.
can't. We gotta start with the most important. I mean, that's an impressive resume. But tell us what it's like to be married to the Brian Reid. Because out of all your accomplishments, I mean, that's got to be
That's-
right. I mean,
that is definitely the
marry
biggest
Brian
accomplishment.
Reid,
Yeah.
beat cancer, become a doctor. I mean, probably in
Yeah.
that order. He's a
So-
good dude. We love him.
Oh my gosh.
Childbirth, whatever. Whatever.
No, truly my soulmate. Like I knew on our first date, it was Halloween. He was dressed as Magnum PI.
Did he have the mustache?
He did.
And
He
was
had
it
the mustache.
natural?
Mustache was natural, but
Well,
but
hey.
like April helped him color it in a little bit.
No, but it wasn't a bolt on.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Real
Wow.
mustache. And then he had
Yeah.
this like chest hair. And I was like, oh, almost perfect. Like, I know, I could deal with that. But then
Wait,
he
you
goes,
don't like chest hair?
I didn't at the time.
Sorry, Nick.
No, but I've
She's seen me in a
I've
pool
changed my
before.
mind. I've changed my mind on that now. I've aged into it, I guess. But he didn't. He
As
didn't
have
really,
I.
but he
Yeah.
did not break character all night.
Yeah.
All night.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the night, April comes over. She's like, "Wow, that shoe polish I put on your chest still looks pretty real." I'm like, "Shoe polish? That's not real hair," because it was like coated on.
And then
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's it."
All right. So we met through a mutual friend that I knew from scouting. She had gone to school with at Kent and played. He'd played baseball there, and I met him in the Northwest. And so he came to town. He said, "Hey, I'm going to meet up with a friend of mine." Called me, said, "I'm going to meet up with a friend." We met at Flicka's in Scottsdale.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
classy.
And we met that night. And
Was that that Flickers was the Halloween party?
no, that was the week before. It was like,
That was Monday.
Monday. Oh gosh.
Monday. Halloween.
If
was,
only I had a book that
Friday or
documented all of those things.
it was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the week.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was Monday.
Yeah.
The party was Friday.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you met on Monday?
Yeah.
And then you saw each other at the party on Friday.
Yeah. Mix in a Wednesday and a Thursday in between, right?
Wow. So
Wait.
There were sparks
So
flying.
time out.
Right?
You try to position it as the Halloween parties when you first met, but that's not true.
Halloween party is when I knew I was going to marry him.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That
It
was
took
the
her 4
night
days.
I knew.
Wait,
Yeah.
so you met on Monday. Where did you meet on Monday?
Monday was
Monday was
Flicka's.
Flicka's. Sorry.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
at Flicka's.
Tuesday, Kevin likes to cook, so he had been staying at my parents' house because he was in town. I can't remember what he was in town for, but so he'd been staying at my parents' house. So he offered to cook dinner for my parents. So he made this huge dinner. He invited Brian. My sister had friends there, so we met that night or came over that night. Apparently, after my parents went back to bed, my dad looked at my mom and said, "That's the guy that JJ is going to marry."
Whoa. Goosebumps
He got
again.
it. Chuck got it. He nailed it
He did.
early.
One of the smarter men around.
He was so excited for a male to be in the house,
Yeah.
having 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Please
Being an
marry him.
athlete, being an all-American athlete, he's like, I just want to talk about some sports. It's
One thing, while I dissect that timeline, and this is something that I know gives me even more respect for you, that you met on Monday. The Halloween party was Saturday or Friday?
Friday.
Yeah.
And you didn't know if he had chest hair or not.
Just,
Did not.
I mean, you are a classy woman.
I held out,
I mean, yes. Shirts stayed on for at least a week. We
no
know that
swimming.
happened for at least a week.
So did you have a little kind of premonition on Monday at Flicka's, like, oh, that guy's interesting?
Yeah, I thought he was like easy to talk to, right?
Yeah.
Super funny. We started naming off the people we knew, you and Amy,
Yeah.
and
Tim's
yeah.
name came up the first
So, like all that worked. I knew I really liked him when Kevin and I were grocery shopping for the dinner, and I was like, "Is he coming?" I kept asking, "Is he coming? Are you sure he's going to come?" I'm like, "Oh shoot."
Yes.
And
You're
then
in love.
okay, so
Yeah.
then
Yep.
that's 2 days in a row. You saw each other then Wednesday?
No,
No, not Wednesday.
The worst day of
I
your
thought
life.
we went to softball.
was that Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, we saw each other. We one night we didn't go out, but I did meet him at Uncle Bear's with the softball team.
And I met
That's
you
right.
that night.
That's right.
Well, re-met you because
Yeah.
my past with JJ LeBenz goes back before that. So
Yeah.
my sister Amy was a great club softball player, and my sister would lock down right field while JJ patrolled pole to pole in
Same
center
team.
field. Same team, yeah.
Holy shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I
To
didn't know
date,
that.
the best right fielder I've ever seen.
Well, I did have to, I go to some sources today to find out about your club softball prowess, and she literally said nothing hit the ground in the outfield around JJ. Anytime she hit the ball on the ground, she was going to be safe at first because she's probably the fastest softball player she's ever played with.
So she didn't talk about ground balls though, because those got through.
No, she didn't talk about that. But no, yeah, just that led to your your Kent
funny.
State where you played some cold softball games, I imagine, in
Very
the
frigid.
freezing cold. It's probably
Yeah.
enjoyable to hit
Yeah.
in that kind of weather.
I have one game that was the only time in my life that I'm like, please don't hit the ball. Swing and miss, swing and miss.
Oh, wow. So then Friday, you see the Magnum PI.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, the shorts were short too.
oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Glorious.
I love
Yes.
that.
I remembered in my head as 89 days. It was 89 days before I asked her father if I could marry her. 97 to the actual wedding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then after-
So if you're keeping score at home, we planned a wedding before I asked.
Wait, how does that math work?
Very
Yeah.
bold.
Yes.
Kids at home.
Yes. So their wedding is famous. To fast forward a little bit, because nobody was there. They didn't have people there, unless they are just still hiding it from me because I wasn't
Had a
invited.
few
Yeah.
witnesses,
But there
Yeah.
were like only a handful of people there. And I remember the night Reid told us he was getting married. We were at Teakwoods after softball, and he said, "Raise your beers. This is my bachelor party because I'm getting married in like a couple weeks." And we're like, "What?" And we love JJ already. We had got to know her.
I would have loved to have a party. I'd still love to have a reception. That'd be
do
great.
it. Let's do
But
it.
there were 30 people at our wedding, and it really was. And it sounds sappy, but I didn't care about any other part of it. I just wanted to marry her. I knew I was going to spend the rest of my
awesome.
life with her.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do that. So we talked about eloping in Vegas like a month
Yeah.
before that. Oh yeah, yeah.
Actually, I agreed to that.
yeah.
We went for
I got cold
softball
feet.
tournament, and well, no, we had to take care of some other friends. They were a mess,
But
so we didn't go. But yeah, we agreed on that night.
yeah,
The interesting thing is like my life was really not settled. I mean, I had a consistent job, but I moved out for a while. I moved back in with my parents to save money for the internship. I was doing this internship. I was going to snowboard, and I was going snowboarding all the time with a friend. We were going up every weekend. Like, it was just kind of like really enjoying that time of my life. Wasn't looking for anything at all. But like, I knew right away, and I was not afraid to take the leap at all. Like, and I've never wanted a wedding. I never was that girl who dreamed of it. I just
Right.
wasn't. So when my parents and his parents said they want a wedding, we're like, cool, do you guys want to plan it? And they were super excited. So they planned. So the wedding was a surprise for me. I showed up. It was awesome.
You're so
Like,
low maintenance.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
No
in
bridezilla.
some ways, yeah.
In some
Not
ways.
in that way, yeah. But yeah, it was just super fun because we get to watch like the little things that everybody else did.
Yeah.
Like Brian's dad had spent hours pulling rose petals off in the aisle.
Wow.
My mom's friend Sue was
Dedicated.
chasing the ducks away from the rose petals because they were eating them. Like, it was just really neat. We didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
My favorite part, and well, going back, not one person in our family questioned it. And none of our friends did either.
No.
But the pastor, the reverend that officiated our wedding, was his college baseball coach. And he took time to make a couple of digs at Brian's batting average during his career.
Dr. Reverend Coach Gil Stafford.
Bill Stafford, the
Yep.
legendary.
The legendary Gil Stafford. Yep.
What a man to have officiate your wedding.
Yeah, we brought them together. We went to Grimaldi's. We had a dinner. This again, the short version. And we were going to tell them that we were pregnant.
Right.
And so we're bringing everybody together. They know something's going on,
Yeah.
right? And so we share. We're like, "Hey, we're pregnant." And who asked? One of them asked, "Are you guys gonna get married?" Oh yeah, we'll do that too. And then, woo, high fives and boom, boom, boom. And yeah, what the heck?
That's awesome. I didn't know a lot of those details. That's pretty amazing.
You would have heard
Love
him
at
at the
first
wedding.
sight. What?
You would have heard him at the wedding.
Yeah, I missed all the speeches, and I had my speech all written, ready to go, and never got the invite.
My sister ended up being my best man. Her sister was her maid of honor. So
Well,
yeah,
and it was funny because my dad, we were, like Brian brought up having Billy do videographer for our wedding. And I was like, I feel bad if we invite Billy and we're not inviting other people. So my dad's like, I'll set up a video camera. Didn't record a thing. So we have no recording. We have pictures, but we had no recording of the wedding.
Sure, yeah.
Not everyone is sure that you're married at this point.
Yeah. All right, so this would be good. Pulp Fiction. We start with the beginning.
Yes.
We're going to go right to the end, which is current day, and then after this, we can then
Break it
backtrack.
down
Yeah,
from there.
then we can
Yeah.
backtrack ourselves.
Ow.
It's 2019.
Yeah.
2019.
Okay, that's what you said,
Yes.
right? 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, actually, 18. Symptoms started in 18. We were in Boston.
Yeah.
you were in Boston
We were in
on
Boston.
vacation.
On vacation. So he got Cape Cod League, so the whole family went up. And we were going out to eat. And at that point, if you remember, I was eating really clean.
Yeah.
Like we weren't eating out. We were making food. I was really pretty strict about that. So we're eating out, and I'm getting sick to my stomach, and I'm like, I can't handle eating out. So I just thought it was being out of town and all that. So I ignored it. And then it happened a couple more times, and it happened at Christmas that I got really sick, and I'm like, I probably should do something. And
What was the sickness? Like,
Like I
how
said,
did you feel?
horrible stomach aches. Like horrible, and fevers and sweats, and I
Was
just...
it were you throwing up? Were you having bowel movement? Like, what
Yeah.
was it? Was all of the
All
above?
of everything,
So it
yeah.
wasn't just like my stomach hurts. I'm going to take a
Right.
nap and now I'm better.
Right.
It was
Right. It would
visible
last,
signs.
Yeah, it would last a couple days and it'd go away. And then it'd be
Couple
gone.
days.
Yeah, and then it'd be gone like maybe a day or two, and then it'd be gone for a month or two. You know, like it was
Yeah.
really inconsistent. So I'm like, I ate something wrong. When I finally realized, like, I really need to deal with this, and for some reason, my gut said, "Don't go to your primary care." So I started looking for a naturopath.
Why did your gut say that though? What
I just was
subconsciously
worried that
or
I was thinking with my age, I feel like they'll just hand me a prescription, and I don't want a prescription. I want to figure out what's going on. So I just didn't feel right about going that path. So my gut was like, go to a naturopath. So I just found one online, wasn't too far away. I'm like, if I like her, I like her. If I don't, I'll keep looking. And I walk into the office and ran into some people I know, which was so comforting at the time. And she had been dealing with arthritis, and she comes out, her hands are moving. She's like, I've never seen her move like that. So I'm like, all right, I might be in the right place. And
Right.
she's, Dr. Jess is amazing. You're going to love her. And she's the most wonderful and loving human. And I got an hour and a half, my first appointment, an hour and a half of sitting there. And I was like, this is different. This is better. Like the whole building felt like health. Like there are plants, and it's warm, and it's inviting, and everybody's happy, and but very serious about the work, right? So we talked about a lot of things. We did blood work. We were, kind of going through that whole process of figuring it out, which is what I wanted because I was 41.
you shouldn't feel this way?
I shouldn't feel this way at
Right.
41.
Yeah.
But I just felt like this is where I needed to be. So blood work comes back, and I'm anemic. So I'm like, oh, that's why I feel dizzy every time I stand up, and I'm
Oh, yeah.
coaching a ton. I feel great when I'm coaching.
What does that mean to someone that doesn't know what it really means?
So it means low blood or low iron in your
iron,
blood.
yeah.
Low iron.
And so it was causing me dizzy spells and,
Okay.
some other, I don't know what else I was feeling. I just remember the dizzy spells and like stand up or get out of bed and you're really lightheaded. So I was having a lot of that. Like, oh, okay, that's what that is. But I had just had a parent from the team I was coaching tell me that he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And one of the other coaches was like, how'd you know? He's like, well, I was anemic. So when she said anemic, I was like,
Oh.
is it cancer? Was my first question. She's like, let's not jump to that conclusion yet. Let's do some other things. So she ordered an endoscopy and a colonoscopy on the same day. So Brian took me in. Endoscopy, I guess, was fine. They did that
That's
first.
this, right?
That's down the
That's done.
throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they did the colonoscopy. But all I remember is I was shaken awake by the doctor who woke me up saying, you have cancer.
Oh,
That's how he woke you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't the naturopath, though.
No.
I was going to say.
was it just the?
What kind of bedside manner is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Was it the
Like, were you
the
pissed
tech
at that?
ran
We've
the-
talked
it was
about
the
this over the
doctor.
years.
Like, what the
It
fuck
was
is
the
that?
doctor.
I was there. I've
I-
talked about this fear, and I really appreciated her
So-
candor.
Yeah.
However,
I did not appreciate
did
her
not.
candor. But I'm also like just coming out of being
That's what I'm
on
saying.
anesthesia.
Yeah.
Right?
So I heard that. And then I don't remember anything else. I think I fell back to sleep. I don't know.
we
But
had lots of
I guess,
conversations.
yeah, I guess Brian asked to hear it, like the whole thing again and again. And I was bitter. I came home. I'm like, I'm suing her. When that
Yeah.
When it comes back and says I didn't, I'm suing her for everything. I was so mad. She was right. She was not wrong.
Yeah.
And I found out a couple years later from Dr. Jess that she actually called Jessica right after we left and told her. She's like, I've never had a doctor call me. So I do have to thank her for that because we were home like an hour before Dr. Jess called and was like, knew everything, checked on me. So most of the time it takes a day or two for her to get the
Well, and a lot
information.
of time you go for a life-changing test like that, and they're like, it'll be in the portal in 7 to 10 days, and you're like,
Right.
I'm waiting to see if I have cancer for 7 to 10 days. So at least this was the opposite of
Right.
Oh
that.
no, we had it before I had coffee. It was it happened
Right?
quick.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
alarming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I came home and I don't know, what do you do, right? You're still waiting for the biopsy. You're like, they're not going to move forward with anything until they get that back. So
Is the biopsy to show like what the options are?
if it's
or?
truly cancer or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So that came back. So that was like 2 days later. It came back on Thursday. So colonoscopy on a Tuesday, came back on Thursday. So I got the phone call about that. They had already called and set up all the appointments for the next week. So they were moving pretty fast on it, which was also a little alarming. But I called a friend of mine and told her, because she and I always talked about health stuff. And she's like, hey, can I tell someone else? Sure. Yeah, I don't care. Well, she called a friend of hers who's a, not a nurse practitioner, what's it called, doctor? Shoot, I can't think of the name of it. PA. She was a PA.
Yeah.
And she was a PA for doctors who did colorectal surgeries. So she got me an appointment with the doctor that she thinks is the best surgeon that she works with on Friday. So we only had to wait till Friday.
Yeah.
So we show up there. He reminds me of Michael J. Fox. He's short. He's hilarious. He always tries to put some really inappropriate jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he works with a lot of older people. So
Yeah.
he
Right up Reid's alley.
Right? Oh, he's
colon
awesome.
jokes are outstanding.
Awesome.
We'll get to that.
So much
Yeah.
material.
So,
Right? So that was the first doctor's appointment, planning surgery, everything. Loved him. Still love him. He's hilarious. So that was great. That was,
yeah.
yeah.
So everything moved very quickly, I guess
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
the point. And it was in a direction where she had just switched over to being, going to the naturopath, and then we're back into traditional medicine, right? Because we're talking about surgery and the C
Chemo,
word
yeah,
and chemo and all those things. So, I mean, that was what was interesting, which I think led you more to the. Like I said, it was kind of outside of our norm. We share a little bit on Facebook. Some, hey, kids, had a good weekend tournament, softball, baseball. But she really went in, and started documenting and her journey. And I'm sure it was cathartic for you to do so, right? But amazing, like I said, people reaching out. I read what you said, I had this. I mean,
Right.
and all of hers was diagnosed, and then also a reference from somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And that was oh, man, this is happening. Maybe I should look into this, right?
Well, that appointment with the guy that you liked, that was like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
That wasn't to do the actual surgery, though, was
No,
it?
he was my surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the surgery didn't happen that day, though,
The
did
surgery, no. So that was a pre-op with him, and then we had to order all these other tests because I don't know, colorectal surgeons and gastroenterologists battle. I guess the Sharks and the Jets, they don't like each other. And he's like, they never know how to label things, and they don't know. So he wanted more information. So I actually ended up having another colonoscopy. They call it a flex sig because it's
You get some wonderful pictures of your colon.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely
Christmas,
shots.
I think
Yeah,
you
I
guys
have-
used it as your Christmas card.
Yeah.
One year, yeah.
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 So that was the day before my surgery. So I actually fasted for 48 hours before my surgery. And then went in for surgery the next day. So flexig surgery, they end up only removing 6 inches. They were going to remove 12. There's also good jokes there.
Hey now.
Yeah. And then I was in the hospital for, I don't know, a couple of days.
Yep. A couple of notes here during
Yeah.
this time. Not a big girl. Yep. Here, withered down to about 92 pounds.
Oh, my
92
God.
pounds on the day of surgery.
Day of surgery?
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Oh, my
she was
God.
skin and bones. It was
And
scary.
then-
Yeah.
That
and
was
then
frightening.
I
Yeah.
go another
Yeah.
couple of weeks without being able to eat solid food.
So
Yeah.
you're probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got down to 85 at one
Oh
point.
my gosh,
Yeah.
that's like my
Yeah.
right leg.
It was gross.
Yeah.
It was so gross.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Like I lost my entire butt. Like it was just, like 90-year-old women like walk around and the butt and the skin just hangs below, right?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. And it was just,
There's a lot of dudes like that at Lifetime. Seeing them. Yeah, they don't care. No ass.
right? That's how it was. And every
It
time
was
I
just
go to the
weird.
pool, Brennan would point and laugh at me. She thought it was hilarious that my ass looked like just flat and ugh.
So what did
Yeah.
you? Was there like chemo and why do I
Right.
remember?
Yeah.
So there were a lot of talks both ways. I was dead set on I'm not doing chemo.
Yeah, I
I'm
remember.
not
this.
doing it. I'm not doing it. And I met with an integrative oncologist who, oddly enough, I started to see Dr. Jessica in January. And at that point, she'd brought another doctor into her office. I didn't know that when I met with her the first couple of times, but she's an integrative oncologist, which means she is a naturopath for cancer. So I just started going to the office right across the
Yeah.
hall, and they worked together. So, I mean, like, there are all these like little weird tipping
Right.
points that happened that changed kind of the course of things. But she said, you're going to have to, unless you can afford to go out of country. There are treatments
What would
that
they do out of country?
they can do a lot more.
Stuff that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we don't allow here.
You guys have known me long enough. Defense mechanism for me is humor.
Right.
Like, and this is something that was so eye-opening, something totally unexpected, so scary. And to watch it, just to hear everything around it, and if you research it, you're just going to jump off a cliff, right? And then to watch her physically go through what she was going through and the pain. And, that's just, it was, you've got to find something.
But,
Find
but I will
something.
say
Yeah.
that while I did have the mass, I was way funnier.
You were. I know
I
that.
lost all my humor when they removed it. I should have
That
kept
was your
it.
funny?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
The mass? You mean like what was in
the
there?
tumor, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I was way funnier for
Yeah,
that
I
time.
know.
Like my humor was on point, and then surgery and
Yeah.
It was gone.
It's gone
They took
again.
it. They
It's
took
gone.
your humor.
So I mean, there's probably I don't know if they're
Yeah.
listening or if they'll ever listen or this will live on the internet forever. Like if someone's going through something, whether they've identified it already, right, and they're going through it, or they have a feeling like something's wrong or whatever, like what are some of the things that you did that helped you get through it, whether that's family or friends or whatever? Like I could remember bringing only a couple meals over there, and
Those
I
were
felt like
delicious.
this is like skimming,
Yeah.
like it's
Dro-
like a
drop in
nothing
the bucket.
burger, right?
Yeah,
It's like a
right.
nothing thing
Yeah.
based on what you're going through. Like, what are some of the things that helped you or that you did?
honestly, it was really just while you feel like you didn't do anything bringing dinner, you were there, right? You were there to support us. Like you knew we could call you at any time if we needed anything.
Yeah.
Right? And that was like the biggest thing. And I'm so fortunate to have a husband who's hilarious and fun to be around that we took selfies in every doctor's office. He loved the there's like always a picture in every colorectal surgeon's office of the whole digestive system and all the ailments that could happen down it. And so it's all these gross things. And he took a picture with every one of them. He's like, selfie. He loved that.
Do you have a book of
Just
that?
lightning.
Oh, yeah.
the-
We do. Yeah, I can actually pull that up for you later. But yeah, we had fun through it. And I had so many things. Like I didn't want to stop coaching. I didn't want to not be there for the kids. And I wanted to make it as normal as possible. Like life is normal. And so that was such a big piece of like, we're keeping it as normal as possible. We're joking about it. We're, you know, like it's not going to, I'm not going to let anything ruin our life. Right. So it was like, it got to the point where, and I'm almost pissed about this. I am pissed about this. So a couple years later, I get upset about food. I'm really big into controlling what I can control, right? And there's so many things in the environment I can't control. I'll never be able to control. So what can I control? What can I do with my own life? And I'm trying to teach my kids some healthy habits. And I'm like, why would you eat that? You know it's not healthy. And I was like, you watched what I went through. And Brennan's like, didn't look that bad. And there's
I
part of me
can
that's
totally
like,
hear her
I'm really
saying
glad about that. But
It's because you're tough that it didn't look that bad, but not because it wasn't a major deal.
Yeah.
How? So I know you said you were eating clean before it happened,
Yeah.
but now I feel like you've researched it, you learned, what are some things that you do now to take care, like to control what you can control, like you said?
yeah, so you get away from things too, and time changes. But I try not to eat out very much. We've changed all the oils that we eat in our house. I try not to eat a lot of processed foods.
What are the oils?
Like canola oil, vegetable oil.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
What are you using?
Avocado oil mostly, but I need to integrate more. Like olive oil for salad dressings and stuff. Avocado oil for cooking. I do want to try tallow.
Yeah. I'll give you a little container of it. I have a big vat of it right now. Wagyu beef tallow, by the way. So grass-fed Wagyu beef tallow.
Yeah, all like grass-fed.
Yeah, so that was
everything.
actually what I was going to say since we're talking about food.
Yeah.
And this is an area that I
Your
specialize
department.
in.
Yeah, right?
I remember you, for a period of time there, not big on the meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I also remember one of those times that I brought, I think it was a chicken enchilada.
Yeah.
Which I did make for my family that night, and they were delicious.
good.
Delicious.
I remember you saying actually that one of the doctors, I don't know who it was, it might have been Jess or whoever, was like, yeah, no, like I need to have one grass-fed filet like a week or every 2 weeks or whatever it was.
No,
Like,
that was the greatest time. Like that was through chemo. Because
Okay.
they were worried about how much weight I was losing and
Yeah.
my iron counts. So I had to eat bacon
Yeah.
and I had to eat fillets.
Yeah.
Wait,
And that
so that was just while you were in
amazing.
chemo?
Because
I thought that was like I've been doing that ever since. I thought it was
You've
a
been in
diet.
chemo. I've been in chemo for 30 years.
Yes, I did not. That explains a lot now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
what?
then,
So
like,
what
the
was your
minute I
thought
stopped-
like when they were like? You were like, wait a second, like that. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
like
trying
you're
to
cutting me
not
off.
eat that.
Now
Like,
addicted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at Tryst
Yes. Ooh, good
during that
stuff.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, but yeah, that was the bummer. I love filet. So now, if we buy organic, grass fed, then once every couple of months I'll have some. Brian made some the other night that was probably the best filet I've ever had, or best
I know,
steak
buddy.
I've ever had.
Oh,
A lot of secrets over here, kiddo.
Cast
What the-
iron
A lot of
skillet.
secrets.
Cast iron skillet.
oh,
Yeah.
Nick way.
oh, my God.
Butter.
I
on
can't, so I
butter?
can't do like grilled. Like if it has char on it, I have to pull all the char off. So it's just such a pain. So
So it's
really
got to
do
be a
barbecue, yeah.
lighter cook,
Yeah.
like don't sear it and kill
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
all the carbons that I love
Yeah.
entering into
Right.
my body.
Exactly.
Carcinogens.
Yeah,
Those taste
just
so
yeah,
good.
feed
They
me
do
them
taste so good.
feed me
Yeah.
those carcinogens.
JJ, I know you do a ton of research and you're very opinionated and get angry about it. The things that are in our environment that you can't control, or maybe you can control, like things
Yeah.
that are around us every day that are horrible for us. Go.
Oh my gosh, no, that's
Like top couple.
tinfoil hat stuff. No, like obviously fast food, the oils that foods are cooked in, where we're sourcing our foods, like from places that have regenerative farming, it's hard to find, right? So we're pulling food out of the ground that's covered in chemicals and pesticides, and we're eating those. And there's some foods that are really high in that, and wheat is a really bad one. So it's hard. Like I shop mostly at natural grocers because they have such a commitment to not buying, not even shelving any of those
Right.
products. So, but yeah, I mean, you learn to read your labels, and then they just change the word a little bit. So now now you don't know that that's a bad thing, and so you're
Right.
trying to play catch up all the time.
Marketing
so.
shit. It's
Like
like, they spin it
Yeah.
to try to convince you or not convince you of something. So I actually been doing this recently.
Your pasta sauce.
The last two videos that I posted on Instagram and
At
TikTok.
South Chicago Chef.
Yeah, at South Chicago Chef, if you're listening, drop a follow. By the way, it's partly because of you. I've been doing it for a number of years now. Now I'm documenting it. And now I have this, like, regardless if you like the platform or not, regardless if you're on it or not, TikTok is a way to influence a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when I go look at a label now, and I'm just buying pasta the other day, just dried pasta.
So it should have like 3 ingredients.
It should have one ingredient.
Flour and
Semolina. Like there,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're buying a semolina pasta, it should have one ingredient. Semolina. Like that's it. Water,
Right.
to form it.
Yeah.
And some of these pastas have 6 ingredients. And the last 3, you don't know what they are or you can't pronounce them. And it's $2.49. And right next to it, for $2.19, because it was on sale, is one that has 1 ingredient. So then I go, okay. So then I made a video about that. And then I go, well, let me just go look at these pasta sauces. And I know that I've looked at them before.
yeah.
The first one that I picked up, which is one that I want I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to ask you about it, is organic, $4.99 for the jar. And I turn around in the back, and the last 3 ingredients are calcium chloride, citric acid, which I know citric acid, like it's not,
Preservative.
and calcium chloride isn't a big deal either. Like everyone will say it's not a big deal. Okay. And then the last one I can't remember. It was like natural flavors or something like that.
That's not good.
And then the one, and that was $4.99.
Right.
The one right next to it was $3.99, and I turned it around, and it was tomatoes, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, and salt.
Yeah.
And I went, but it's not organic, so the tomatoes aren't organic, right, or whatever. But now, if I'm faced with this decision, and I'm just a lay person, which I am,
Yeah.
which one of those do you choose?
So like normally I would say the one with the least ingredients, right?
Yes,
But you don't know what was sprayed on those tomatoes.
I don't know, but now
And
okay,
you don't know if they're GMO or bioengineered food.
Right.
So, and I just don't know. I'm not gonna trust that yet.
so
and I-
so what do you
so-
do then? You
so
buy
that's why I
organic
sh-
tomatoes and make it yourself.
That's exactly right.
yeah.
I mean, that's really the
Yeah, I mean,
answer.
But not
Yes.
everybody can do that.
No,
but
that's
the
what I'm saying
answer.
is like
Right.
I started my
Yeah.
video by saying the answer to what I'm about to show you is do it yourself with ingredients that you know what they are.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time because that's what I love doing,
Right,
right?
yeah.
But people don't have that,
Yeah.
right? So they're faced with a decision. Now, the next part of that, and so I agree, I don't know what was sprayed. The one that has 6 ingredients that I can name them all, or 5 ingredients, or maybe it was even 4. The other one that has 9 ingredients, and I can't name the last 3, but it says that it's organic so that I know that the tomatoes weren't sprayed. What's your thought around, like, I've seen several different things about the organic debate versus the non-organic debate. If we just turned it off today and said, no more pesticides, no more stuff on plants, we would have a worldwide famine in 3 weeks.
Yeah. So an organic's not no pesticides. It's just a limited number from what I understand. Like it is, there's still stuff, but it's not the new stuff and not the Roundup. And so it's not nothing. I mean, you still have fertilizer, you still have, you
Yeah,
know, but
other-
it's what's
yeah.
in those things. And there's organic has, you have to meet all these.
Yeah, standards.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really hard, and it's getting harder to figure out what it is. What can we eat?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And the flip
Yeah.
side with those organics, you bring them home, and there's these cute little buggies in the lettuce and in the tomatoes
right,
and in
yeah.
the, you know, right. It's very earthy, and
like,
so we get to
Right,
see
well,
it.
because they
didn't
could,
get
yeah,
sprayed.
Because they didn't get
and kill
sprayed.
'em.
Yeah, so you got these little fellas in
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
which I'd
Yeah.
rather have those guys in there than
Than-
some of the other
Yeah.
chemicals
Well,
that.
then
By the way, in
chemicals.
some
Yeah.
cultures, people just eat those
Just
things.
eat those.
right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's, I mean, that's
Part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it's like it's so hard to know the right answer
It
because
is.
when you look at that one label, you'll go, "Wow, 5 ingredients. This is what I'm going for." But the way that they got the 5 ingredients into there, they don't say. And
Yeah.
oh, by the way, like this got a bunch of Roundup on it,
Right.
but it's only 5 ingredients.
Yeah.
And then this one, they're like, "Well, we added those 2 at the end because it's organic and it'll go bad if we don't do it right." Like
You feel like it's
very
like
hard.
the shell game.
It's a
little
total
bit.
shell
game.
It's
It's a
just
total
here
shell
and there,
game.
and now you see it,
Right.
now
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Like it's just a constant learning process, and I make mistakes. I buy the wrong thing.
I make
Some
mistakes
people-
all the
do
time.
you buy the wrong thing ever? Occasionally, yes.
So
Come
he like he'll
on.
buy these cookies at Sprouts, and he
so
keeps
good.
buying them. And every time I look, it says bioengineered, and I throw them away. And he's like, "But I spent $6 on those cookies. Don't bring them into my house."
Right.
And so they go
That's
right
why I
into the
saw you
garbage.
eating
Yeah.
out of the
Now
garbage.
they're in the
other
garage.
day.
Yeah, they're in the garage in the car. And then,
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm trying. I'm
don't- I
trying.
It is.
I'm
It's just there's so
trying
much
so bad.
misinformation. But I mean, the one thing that from talking to people, I was talking to one of the yoga teachers, and her husband is super allergic to gluten.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything you could be allergic to. They go to Europe and he can eat everything because everything's made different. You're getting your bread has 3 ingredients and it doesn't have, so he can eat bread though there, even though he can't touch it here. And it's really disturbing when you think about
If you
the
look
machine.
at, the
that
side
we're
by
living in.
sides of, like, let's take Trick cereal or something, like, and the ingredients in the U.S. and there's like 5 ingredients for the one in the UK because
Yeah.
their standards are so much higher. Yeah.
So I mean, like the whole thing, like listening to you while you were going through your journey and just like advocating, not to speak for you, but you were telling people just to advocate for themselves, much like Dr. Chris told us, right? Just advocating for yourself and trying to make the right decisions and educating yourself and researching. She's a researcher by nature, so that's she shares that information with all of us
That's great.
in the house.
And
So-
Not always well received.
Yeah. So
And the kids do a great job of putting up with it.
So how do
have a
you
similar-
know? How do you know when he's done listening to what you have to say?
Oh, he says it. Yeah, no, he's very clear.
Perhaps
Yeah.
you are right, dear.
But
I love you.
yeah, more so.
Oh, I
just love you.
No,
You might be-
he does. He's
no.
like, I love you.
Yes.
So is that the one where he's, I can love you so
I just love you
much.
so
No,
much.
he's like, I love you, but I'm like,
I love
all right.
you, but that
More so?
never- yes.
Is it
more,
more so?
more
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
More so.
Becoming more so.
Yeah.
But
I need a minute. How about
yes.
that?
Yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about. I mean, I'm intrigued on your professional life as well. I mean, from Sequoia School for the Deaf. How many years did you say there, Brian?
Was it 17?
17.
And what was your role there?
Most of the time, I was assistant principal with a lot of other
Charter school with a
different
lot of hats, right?
responsibilities. Yeah,
that's
small
a-
school, so
Yeah.
took on a lot of different responsibilities, but kind of like the assistant principal catch-all title.
And the students there are all deaf or different levels, or yeah.
Yeah, deaf, hard of hearing, but all use sign.
What
Majority
made
of them
you go
use sign.
into that though?
My dad's sister was deaf, so there was always talk in the family about her and her educational background, and so it was just interesting.
So I joke about like her leaving Scottsdale, Arizona, playing softball in Scottsdale, Arizona, going to Kent, Ohio, right?
Yep.
But it was because of your major, right? Because of what you wanted to study. You had like 3 options, 4
There were-
options.
At the time, there were like, my dad did some research. There were 5 schools that had my major and Division I softball.
Wow.
Wow.
So
So we talk about like knowing what you want to do at 18, right? Like,
Damn, she
yeah,
did.
right?
But
She
which
knew.
is hilarious because
Right?
She's
I
like,
was
I
a
wanna
terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. Here, how about this one? I'm 46 and don't know.
For those of you on Spotify or Apple, we're doing sign language right now.
Rudimentary. So yeah, she can tell me to F off and do a lot of things in 2 languages.
It's very much the same.
It's very
though.
yeah,
It's the
and
same,
you know what's
yeah.
coming at you. Yeah. No, that was fascinating. Like that world, the deaf education and just the deaf world, like the community was amazing. Like I had never been around it, right? But going to her graduation, and watching everyone communicate and just the like celebrating the joy of all of it and just like being able to communicate and like talking through the windows, right? And like all these like different, just a different world, right?
Yeah.
It was just so
They
cool.
can talk
and
through
I,
windows.
but I was the minority, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on, right?
They were talking so much shit
right,
about
like
you.
slow down. I got the alphabet at one point. We had
Yeah.
a student live with us for
Former
a while.
student, yeah.
And so the kids
Oh, I
even
remember,
got,
yeah.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
Korean,
And so the kids got it. And you never talked to, and this might be an interesting, like you never shared, like we did some baby sign and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but you didn't really push it on the kids, sign language on the kids.
Well, it doesn't.
ASL.
Yeah, it doesn't really work when you're only, like everything
No.
you're giving is directives.
Right,
It's not
yeah.
language. Kids learn language more by what they just see around them and hear around them. So if it's not happening naturally around them, they're not,
Right.
Yeah.
they didn't really pick it up. Jackson used it a lot when he was, just to ask for things. But then once he started to talk, there was no need for it. And then when Karina came to live with us, when she was going to Chandler Gilbert, she would sign, and Jackson was in kindergarten, and he didn't feel comfortable signing, so he'd write. So his English got a lot better.
So they
And they'd
had
write
one
back and
sentence
forth.
with each other a
Yeah.
day because he's in kindergarten.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It was interesting. He started writing a lot more because
That's
he needed
great.
to
Yeah,
communicate
right, right.
his
Yeah.
needs,
Make
right?
me a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Warm this shit up, bitch. Yeah. I like that. But one of the a funny anecdote when she was at Sequoia, they needed some work done there, and I went to her and I was like, "Hey, we got this thing at my work called Moving Mountains, Iron Mountain Moving Mountains." It was like, "You guys need anything?" Basically, like, "Yeah, we need to paint, we need to move this shit. Like, we got to do it." I'm like, "All right, cool. We'll bring the crew or whatever."
Right, yeah.
And so we brought. I don't even know how many people were there. We
Yeah.
painted a couple rooms of the school or whatever it was, and I remember going at the end of the day, and like the guys going like, "Man, it was really quiet."
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a school for the deaf. Like,
also
it's like, well, we didn't want to be loud or like,
It was break. No
was break.
Like
Nobody
students
on
weren't
campus.
there. Yeah.
Very
It was,
quiet.
like,
there
very
was some
quiet,
people
yeah.
milling around. It's like, it's really quiet.
So funny.
Yeah. But what a different, like, awesome. It was very cool. It was cool for our kids to see that, and to they don't remember much about you going through your doctorate program, again, grade school and stuff like that. But
That's what I want to talk about, the doctor.
Yeah, that's amazing.
and
Why?
again-
I don't know many doctors.
Why? Why?
and what was it? What was the degree? What was your doctorate? Doctorate in
Educational leadership, higher ed.
okay.
Yeah,
So
Higher ed.
higher ed.
That was before weed was legal, though. So what? College? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of like my long-term plan, is that I would get this degree, I'd go work in the colleges, and then my kids could go to school wherever I worked for a discount.
And then?
That was my college plan for them. And
And
then I'm still paying loans because they put loans on hold for 3 or 4 years. So yeah, it hasn't really worked out. But
So what does the doctorate get you at this point? Other than a title. When that little drop down says Mr.,
Right.
Mrs., Miss, or
Doctor
Doctor.
and Mister. Yeah, I do like
Doctor
that.
and
Doctor
Mister.
and Mister, yes.
That's a flex.
Making reservations at a nice restaurant.
Yes.
That's what it gets you.
Doctor and-
That's about it.
I
Doctor
do
and
remember
Mister.
what it also get her. Like as soon as I heard she was a doctor, I immediately sent her pictures of this rash I was dealing with, in hopes that,
was
she
fun.
could prescribe me some sort of cream or.
It was the first dick pic I ever received.
That wasn't. So I received a dick pic from your husband before you did, when he pretended like he broke his bone walking into the World Series and sent me the X-ray picture saying, "Dude, I can't believe this happened. I fell walking into the World Series. I'm devastated. I almost went on that trip. I was like, oh my God, he's missing the World Series. I can't believe this." And he just baited me in, and it was several hours. I'm at the hospital now. I'm like, it's the third inning. He's like pulling his phone out going, I'm at the hospital. He's like, the x-rays just came back. I'm like, I cannot, I'm narrating this for my family the whole time. Then he sends me the picture of the scan, the x-ray, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a 12-inch dong on this picture. And it's the fourth inning. And he baited me for 2.5 hours.
So
Gotcha.
you're doing that while I'm arguing with your 6-year-old to keep her coat on because she's like, no. All those guys up there aren't wearing their coats and like
Feel the
drunk. Yeah.
Yes. This is awesome. He's like, Daddy's working, guys. Daddy's working.
He's like, yeah, I'm communicating with a scout that's in the dugout.
It's 2 degrees in Detroit.
I'm like, I mean, it was the biggest
God.
and best bait job. I think I was the only one. Like, I don't think there was anyone else.
I am not a doctor.
Yeah. For the record,
Yeah.
he's not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
But this is the thing, this is what I wanted to ask you about the doctor. Because we knew each other well at that
Yeah.
time. And I hate school. And I hate studying, and I hate reading. You had kids.
Yeah.
You put them to bed, then you got books out, and then you did homework and studied and all of this stuff.
After working all day.
Which was
After
so
working all day.
not me.
Right.
Right? Like
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, well, okay, so I think in retrospect it was a very selfish endeavor. Like I wanted to know that I could do it. Right? Like
It's
I was
okay to be. I
like
mean, I think
yeah.
that's okay to
I
be
still have this
selfish and
memory
not
of
your-
like 3rd grade sitting for the parent teacher conference and my teacher telling my mom, "You're lucky she's pretty because she's not smart." And so every graduation
She said that?
Yeah. So every
in the day.
graduation
Did
I
Joanne
had,
just bitch slap that hoe?
no, that wasn't my mom's style.
It was
but,
tough love.
But
It was,
yeah, but it was
They were
like
very truthful.
yeah. So I truly believe that through high school. And I think I graduated with like a 2.3. I mean, I was not a good student at all in high
Ooh,
school.
I hope
yeah,
the
it
kids
was-
aren't listening. We told them high
I
school.
told him higher.
High school grades are
Yeah, no,
important.
this is way too long for them to listen.
Yeah, they're tapped
so
out.
there's no shot. Yeah.
They tapped out of
Sora
dick
is
pics.
like, it's the Harvard of the AIA.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the money to buy my grades, so just kidding. No, I just really never believed I could do school and do it
Wow,
well.
I didn't know you were. I
Yeah.
didn't know. Like, I thought you were always an academic.
No, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do Def Ed. And when I got to Kent, one of the senior softball players sat us freshmen down and was like, "We have a team GPA that's 4th in the country. If you fuck that up, I'm gonna kill you."
Oh my
Like,
God.
okay, we're not winning a lot of games, so I guess
Yeah.
this is
Yes.
we actually had a pretty decent system. But but that was a priority at Kent, so I had to figure it out. So I had 14 hours of study tables that I was required to clock into on top of classes and everything.
God, that sounds
And so I had to
horrible.
learn how to be a student for the first time.
Yeah.
And then once I got into my major easy because I was passionate about it. I mean, you know that.
That's true.
Like I
Yeah.
I couldn't look at I don't have the patience to cook.
Yeah.
I'm like, just send me the HelloFresh box and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
follow that or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know. But when you're passionate about something, you could delve into it for
Absolutely.
hours. I mean, you could probably spend an hour at the grocery store deciding which peppers you want to buy.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
So like passion definitely drives motivation. So that helped. And then every one of my degrees was still in that realm. So even my doctorate, well, it was higher ed, my dissertation was all about deaf students in higher ed. So it was all within my area of passion.
Got
That's
it.
awesome.
How did you, like, I mean, I know your parents, I wouldn't say well, but good enough. Your dad was an amazing runner. Your mom's super successful at what she does. Like, how did they influence, like, your decision? Like, you were a 2.3. Was Chuck pissed about that? Or, like, how did they influence the things that you did or didn't do?
He was more pissed about her mile time that she couldn't get under 4 minutes like her old man.
Yeah, I never got under 5. He was really I actually remember them sitting me down in fifth grade. I got a D in reading, and my dad's like, seriously, like, how hard can it be? So yeah, they I don't know. My sister was really academic. She ended up at Vanderbilt. She's a lawyer. Like, she was the kid who came home and studied. I think they were just like, well, at least we got one.
And she's pretty.
She's pretty. Yeah.
You're lucky
softball.
she's pretty.
Right.
Just slap her.
So yeah, it was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really remember them.
What about now? Are they
fighting with
like,
me about it, but-
wait, our daughters are a lawyer and a doctor?
Yeah, I don't really think, like, I think my dad's super excited my sister's a lawyer because he loves Law and Order, which drives her nuts.
Oh yeah.
Drives her nuts. It's so funny.
Big Jim Peppers and Law and Order.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
What a
So-
great gardener.
Yeah.
Chuck's a
cute.
great
Oh,
gardener,
absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
I'm
yeah,
the beneficiary of his peppers.
Extremely driven, right?
Yeah.
Chuck's
But I think they've
extreme-
been great about, like, find your path and do it. Do whatever you love. Do it. Enjoy it. And, you know, they're just there to support.
Yeah.
They were awesome. Like, I wouldn't have ended up at Kent without my dad. Because I was like, I signed with Phoenix College. I'm like, I'll just go there, play, I'll figure it out. And he was the one that researched. He's the one that sent my VHS tapes and a letter to all those schools.
Let's go.
That
Hello.
thick package.
He was the $1,500 I'll get your kid placed in
Yep.
college
Yes.
before
Yep.
the $1,500
Yeah, the
I'll get
video
your place.
camera
He
up
was
on the
Clark
shoulder.
Griswold with the
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
old
Yep.
the swing.
Did the whole,
That was the thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what she did.
yeah. So he did all that for me.
I'm very interested in your thoughts on a couple things. Being in education as you are for as many years as you are, what's right and what's wrong with our school system? If you had to, like, say, I have my own opinions, I'll share them if you'd like.
Yeah.
But I want to know from your perspective, someone that's in it every day, that sees what's going on, like what every time I see this, and let me give you the premise
Yeah.
as to why. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Teachers on the south side of Chicago, if you don't go to a Catholic school, are glorified babysitters. It's horrible, right? That school system is horrible. Then I live here, and my kids have Chromebooks and interactive whiteboards, and these 5 teachers have master's degrees and, you know, all of this other stuff. And then I see Arizona last, and I go, bullshit. Last. No. You never been to 92nd Street and Commercial. You ain't been there. Because I tell you this, that ain't better than this.
Yeah.
I've seen them both, right? I just don't know what to trust and what to believe. I don't know.
And I mean, like anything, it's not ever all bad or it's not ever all good, right? I mean, there's always things in the middle. But I mean, in both settings, being in the charter setting for so many years, I can't really speak to, I've been in a district setting again for like a quarter, so I don't
Yeah.
want to speak to that, but I love the teachers I work with. We have amazing staff. I see amazing things happening every day. We are also in a situation post the lockdowns where we have kids that are really having a hard time regulating basic emotions in general. I mean, we're really struggling. You have kids that think that I'll just do online school because that was easy. Well, their frame of reference was COVID. That wasn't real school.
Right.
That was survival,
That was
right?
just
As
get through
teachers,
it.
it was like,
Yeah.
just please show up online. Like, I don't know what else to do. Like, especially with our population, that was a real challenge when a kid's going home and they have no one to communicate with at home. But it's a like night and day different environment than it was pre-lockdowns. I don't know how we come back from it. Honestly, if I did, I'd probably make some money off that. But I really have no idea how we fix this. I think we caused a ton of harm with fear, and that kind of trauma that hit our kids is lasting.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to continue to have long range effects from this. And then you add in, if you want to like really get into it, our food and nutrition program is not nutrition. They're eating a ton of sugar. There's dyes. It's all processed foods.
Yeah, mozzarella sticks are the dairy.
Right.
Yeah, it's
well,
like-
pizza's a vegetable.
Yeah.
And a meat and a fruit. Yeah, it's everything.
Like,
So
what are we doing?
Yeah.
What
so
the fuck are we
our
doing?
kids, especially if you're in a school system or a school where you're low income kids who are relying on that
Right.
food. So the food they're getting if they're getting food from food banks, it's all highly processed foods, and that's all they're surviving on. And if you really look into what food dyes do to the brain, it's very scary. It's very immediate. And if you never get off those food dyes, you can be diagnosed with some really interesting things that might all stem from food dyes. And
The
then-
red 40s and
Yeah.
the yellow
Yeah.
20s and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, gut health is a mess. And the gut and the brain are direct connections. So if your gut health's not good, your brain's not functioning at a high level. So, I mean, there's just so many different things going on at this point. So I don't like to say what's wrong. It's big. I mean, they're just such big issues. To say how to fix it, I don't know. But I know there's some amazing, loving, wonderful people out there that are working really hard to take care of these kids and love these kids.
yeah.
I have a way to, not a way to fix it, but in order to fix it, somebody has to say, I want to do the hard work. And when somebody like JJ, Dr. Reid, goes from Sequoia to Gilbert Public Schools and said, not only am I going to Gilbert Public Schools, but I'm going to go to junior high, which are the most difficult kids. And not only that, I'm going to be a counselor. And don't just give me all the really challenging kids from Mesquite Junior. Please bus all the really challenging kids from the district to one school, and that's who she is the counselor for. So when you talk about change, it's people like her that's making the change because nobody wants to do it. She's not the glorified babysitter that you were talking about. Like, she wants to do it. She asked me to come speak at her school the other day. There was another teacher who he brings the boys in during their period, it's an all boys club. He calls it the men's club. And they are kids that have shown like really some behavior issues. Some of them show some leadership skills. And he wants to teach them how to handshake, how to make eye contact, how to have confidence, how to do a job interview.
Love that.
That I can't think of his name right now.
Metri.
Yeah, Mr. Metri. And he's like, I want to take these kids and I want to make them better people. So people like him, people like JJ, I mean, to me, it was so inspirational to see that because that's how it's going to change. Now, are they going to create enough of a wave of momentum? Hopefully so, where other people want to get involved and make a difference that way. So props to you. I think you're working on sainthood.
Your elementary and like grade school experience, was it public school or were you Catholic school?
Yeah.
Okay. So Catholic school here, there's a number of them, but what opened my eyes when JJ started working at Sequoia was the charter school system, right? Charters versus public schools, and that was a debate here in Arizona for a while, right? But what it really boiled down to was I thought it was, I was open to the idea because, you live in the neighborhood, you send your kid to the local school, right? Well, you have choices as a parent, right? And you advocate for your kids and sending them to a charter school because they have a deaf education program as opposed to mainstreaming them in the local high school or the local elementary school.
Yeah.
That's an option,
Right.
And so the charter school systems, I think it gets I don't know if they get a bad rap or whatever. The media can take it both ways, right? But having options and being able to choose what's best for your kids.
Yeah. Is that putting
Yeah.
the onus on the state to kind of come up with the nutrition plan and the charter? Like, is that better than having it be mandated some way or
Well,
another?
the nutrition program is federal, so there's no way around that.
So it has to
That's
change
federal.
from the top.
Oh, yeah.
But what if they
Yeah.
took that program and said, you know what's fresh in your state, you know what you can do, go do it? They would never do that, no matter what.
No.
So I don't know if you know, there's
It's funded by Coke and, I mean, maybe not Coke, but it's funded by...
Sugar manufacturing.
It's
so Jamie Oliver is a
Yeah.
English chef.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you ever see the project that he did?
Yeah.
He went in and changed how they serve lunch.
Right.
and he did the analysis about what they were serving. And this is, by the way, like, he's from London or, you know, England somewhere. He came over here and looked at our school system and was like, this is a joke.
Right.
Right. And he went in there and did one school basically and forced them to ground the beef themselves in a kettle that day and like add the tomato sauce into it with Italian spice and like and make fresh pasta. And it's okay to give the kids a portion of pasta. Just have it be something that's real, right?
Yeah.
He went in and changed this like several times throughout his project. He just broke down and they kept it in where he was just like, I can't do it. Like I can't, it's so big and it's so fucked basically that this is a guy that's worth millions of dollars on a TV show on ABC, by the way. It was on ABC. Like, and he's going, I still can't do it. Like it's just not possible. And that's not like, that's not.
It's so hard, like, because not only are you trying to change something within a school, but then what's happening at home, right? We're so programmed into fast food because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's super affordable. And we're now generations into McDonald's or generations in, right? Where this is just what we eat.
Yeah.
And I suspect it's gotten worse over time, right? Yeah. But
Well, and in those poor neighborhoods throughout the country,
yeah.
it's you don't have a flower child to go to on the corner. You know, it's you have KFC, you have Jack in the Box, you have Taco Bell. It's all dirt cheap, and that's what families are eating you know, at night. And
There's got to be so many factors too.
Yeah.
In the 50s, dual income was like, you do what?
yeah.
Right.
You have two incomes in your house, right? Now it's like,
You can't survive.
you're not dual income?
Right.
Yeah.
What? That's, we're not, I mean, if we're talking millions of years that things have existed, this is like a 70-year snapshot where it's completely flipped.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to, I mean, you guys are dual income.
Yeah.
How do you, like, is it a spray and pray, like, every day, like, trying to figure out how to just put something decent in your body?
We're lucky because we both our jobs are kind of seasonal, right? So he travels a bunch in the spring. I'm home a little, so it just kind of flows. But like right now he's home a lot, so he'll cook. We do Green Chef delivery, which helps.
I think the biggest thing, like I know when we talked to Julie about like making the kids lunches, right? And I know you would make the kids lunches, right? Like I would try to do it. I throw a couple together, but Brennan's really good about it. She likes it. But she had some stomach problems with some dairy, and so she's like, well, I'm not eating that anymore, so I'll do this myself.
Yeah.
But not everybody's in that position to do that, right? And you look in the cupboard and there's not enough to roll some turkey together and some cheese and some crackers or something of substance.
Nick, have you heard of Stephen Ritz? So he's amazing. I've met him a couple times at conferences, but he started farming in the Bronx, a farming program. And his story is really cool, and he's done a lot of shows.
Like
and
on the
different
top
things.
of buildings or ground
It
level?
actually accidentally started in his classroom. Well, like I can't remember if he dropped a seed or something and it started to grow, and he's like, oh, the kids they'd never seen that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't see a lot of that. And then he realized they're on a food island. There's no fresh food in their whole area. So now he started all these farming programs, and he's real big into Tower Garden and takes those to schools and does a lot of stuff.
Great for that setting.
Yes,
the tower.
absolutely. So he is trying to generationally change the way people eat for better health outcomes, but doing it within your own neighborhood. That's changing huge. But he's gotten some stuff done where they've added like rows of trees in the middle of the street and done all this other stuff. But he's
You just need more of these types of pockets
Yes.
to go viral. How you're doing it at Mesquite, like then someone needs to hear it, and then they go, we should do that, and then we should do it. And that's how I think it starts to change
Exactly.
its course.
You started with yours, right? You started growing your own vegetables, right?
Yeah, I
We
mean,
started with the Tower Garden and
Yeah.
the Juice Plus.
I haven't
and
bought
taking those
basil
others.
in 3 years.
Right, that stuff grows like
And I've
crazy.
never-
That's hard. Yeah, that's a
Right?
lot of basil.
Right,
I
it's a
know
lot.
that you're very happy with your job, VP Iron Mountain, but when you're ready for Nick, if it's 2.0, 3.0,
Yeah.
you could be a change maker. in this
Yeah,
game.
there you
absolutely.
go.
Like do what?
Like start some sort of foundation, charity where you get people to help finance things, and then you create menus like you did at Sky Y Camp.
Yeah. Ooh,
Create
that's right.
menus for schools and kids. I know my son Cody has a passion for this as well. And like the Jamie Oliver thing, like make a difference. And you know, you would need funding to help because you're fighting, like I said, the sugar companies and Coke.
I actually never thought. First of all, I forgot that me and Robert changed the entire menu at Sky Y and completely turned that place around. I forgot that.
Yes.
Oops.
Whoops.
Forgot about that one.
Whoops.
You're welcome.
It went from every survey said the food is horrible, but we love the place to the place is cool, but the food is amazing. So that's how
fun.
that changed.
That's fun.
But that's interesting. But I think you're onto something there. But it would take someone like this, or a Dr. Crit, like those types of people that can say, like in accordance with it, right? It's a village that would do it, and I think it's something to think about.
Yeah.
If
Something
we
to contemplate.
possibly go get a cocktail after this, we should talk about it.
We should probably do that.
What else?
Should we fire away with a couple of true or false?
Yes,
For-
I would love
Let's
that.
do
All
it.
right. Things
Maybe
about Dr. Jennifer Reid.
Yeah.
She just got nervous.
Does she like it when I call her Dr. Jennifer Reid? True or false?
Yes or no? You don't like that?
You guys need to
What
listen.
about when we joke with you? Like, what's up,
No,
Doc?
it's fine. But I'm not. I don't go by it ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on her business card, or it was.
I felt bad. I called her Mrs. Reid at Mesquite
Yeah,
that day,
don't
and
you-
I had to text her after. I'm like,
you
why did I not call you doctor? I'm so sorry.
No, nobody there. Like I don't. It's such an awkward thing. Like, oh, call me doctor. Like I didn't do it for that.
Yeah, no, that's real
Smack their
douchebag.
head.
If you ever did that, I would call you that. I would never say anything
Yeah,
other
no.
than that to you.
No, only and it only worked at home for about maybe 2 months winning arguments. Are you a doctor? No. But now,
Dude, that is the mic drop there. Oh, I'm sorry. You're the doctor.
right?
It was very similar to the cancer card. Oh, did you have cancer?
Wow.
Nope.
Dude, are you just lining up cards?
The banter in their family is off the charts.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Full Colon.
How's that degree from University of Phoenix coming along? when we met, and it moved fast, right? She was already ahead of me. She already was closer to that master's degree than I was, so I just kind of pulled off to the right lane.
Yeah.
And just I'll let her.
I'm going to go this direction.
I'll let her be the smart one. I'll be the
Yes.
baseball guy.
Yes.
I did promise her very early on that I would be a GM of a ball club.
Did you promise her that?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I said, I'm
Said he's gonna
I'm
be a GM.
Yeah.
Well, that
did you
means
say-
that we get tickets, so when's this happening?
No, it happened.
Yeah, for 5 years I was a very successful ball club team from the age of
was.
8
The
to 12.
He didn't qualify where he would be the GM.
We toured all the way from Victory Lane to SB Field. Oh yeah,
He was
covered
great
it.
with the emails. Okay, guys, today it's Columbia Blue stirrups, Navy belt, Columbia Blue hat.
He was on it.
All right,
saw
what's
it.
the next true or
Motivational.
false?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go into some of her media interests. True or false? JJ likes crime documentaries, serial killers, and Ted Lasso.
Are you asking me and Tim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
100% true?
So true.
Yeah.
And I know she's
Apparently,
watched
it's like
Ted
a
Lasso.
middle-aged woman thing to
Yeah,
watch
right.
murder shows. Yeah, and cult shows.
And cult- yeah.
But Ted
Wait,
Lasso
so
is the best show
cults,
ever.
Colts?
serial killers.
Yeah. And Ted Lasso.
And Ted-
Obsessed
okay.
with Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Fascinating.
And the serial killer is scary because if Brian shows up missing,
Yeah.
we know there was a really good
Yeah.
cover up
I
from
think that's
somewhere
why.
over
That
here.
is exactly why he put it out on the podcast,
Yep,
so
yep,
that
yep.
everyone
The
knows.
world
I'm pretty
knows.
sure a doctor could probably plan that.
Probably get away with that one. We do have a no murder clause in our vows, so yeah, there was
that's
no.
good.
I won't murder you.
Yeah, I will not murder
No,
you.
we
If
actually
things go
agreed to
bad,
that
Yeah.
before we
just-
got married.
Just step away. Just step
good.
away.
Okay. Yeah.
So our
think it's-
wedding was right around the Scott Peterson time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we did promise not to
Threw
murder
that
each
in.
other.
That's
We're
right.
like,
That's nice.
if it
And no
goes
cutting
wrong,
anything
let's
off.
just
Yeah.
let's just leave.
Yeah.
No cutting anything off when you're sleeping. Yes. Does JJ, Dr. Jennifer Reid, love acronyms? True or false?
Yes.
Loves
Yes.
I think so.
acronyms.
Yes.
I think
The
so,
educational
yeah.
world is full of
Yeah.
acronyms.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the full.
we-
list.
if we
Mr. Whip, RBI. Like,
Oh.
Do you know how many
Touche.
acronyms that
Touche.
I just like people use? And I'm, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wins over replacement.
war.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh wait. Now, if you had to just back of the napkin guess how many acronyms, I can't even say the word acronyms that you know. How many are there?
There's so much in the special ed world. I couldn't even
10, 100, or 1,000?
over 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
All right. So that's not that bad.
no.
All right. I know over 100 at work.
I think at one point we sat down and we talked about our own personalities, right? Like,
Yeah.
and if your wife comes to you and you're going to solve the problem, right?
Yep.
You're going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
I'd never have to solve a problem.
She's got it all figured out. Yes.
I don't know if that's a little jab right there.
Yeah,
That might be.
like
There are times.
we were laughing about that because at our house he has to be like, I don't need you to solve it. I just want to talk about it. I'm like, that's probably a little reversible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sharing my feelings.
I like this. Do you have one or two more?
Let's see.
Then Caden's going to get mad if we don't stop.
Oh, yeah. True or false? She has the ability to walk right past clutter and not see it on the floor.
I would say 100% true.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, this is just turning into a roast.
My superpower.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I see
And-
no clutter.
True or false, you stare at it and go, I've been gone for a day. They've all been here.
Walked past it.
Why is it not picked up? There's a dish in the sink. I was gone for 2 days. Why is it still there?
But you're also talking to the guy that if you walk in his extra garage, he's got like card cataloged, like every little baseball card. From
Well, you know what she
1973.
calls it, right?
What?
The sarcophagus.
That's right. I want to be laid
Yes.
to rest in that. And then the third garage.
It's impressive.
No, I joke, but yeah, as I was going through it, like I
I
said,
joke, but not really.
I joke. It's passive aggressive, but it's great. It comes natural. No, like when we had Julie on, it was wonderful to see her kind of go outside of her shell a little bit, and like that's something. And I know, like for Danielle, to be able to not done. No. And I know we were nervous. We talked about it a little bit beforehand, like what are you getting into? But as I was thinking just more about it, like the word caring and thoughtful and the she's curious. She's always curious, right? That researcher's mind. Mm-hmm. She's always looking to help people. She's incredible on the softball field with the girls. They come to her. She gives them 8-second hugs and they love it and they just embrace, right? And she wants to give back. And like I said, when I saw that journey through the cancer, her willingness to be vulnerable. We use that a lot with Tracy and with some of these guests, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Her willingness to be vulnerable in that situation was just amazing, and it was outside of her comfort zone, but it's helped people. It's helped other people, right? And she keeps chipping away, and she's helping me to get to be
Look at that admission.
to be a better person,
bottle.
to be a better person, right?
The man
Yeah.
who took a sauna today.
Yeah.
You guys are one of my favorite couples on this planet because you're both so easy to be around, so accomplished in your own fields, and you guys do so much for so many people, and you're just always there for people, and I appreciate that very much.
I second the notion.
Yep. And she was there for the origin of origin.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Why you got to talk about 06?
Talk about that.
There for the origin of the title of this show. That people do that.
Yeah.
People do that.
And she is one. She does that. JJ, it was awesome to have you on today.
Thanks, Jay.
I love that your name's an acronym.
Thank you, dear.
Oh, now give me just a little bit, and I don't need a lot. Open up your heart, show me what you got. Sugar tastes sweet.